Anyway, going to the defense. Number 2, Andrew Peak. This kid looked great.
He had 4 assists in one in the game against St. Louis, I believe.
Oh, the touchdown drubbing.
Yeah. We know what he could do defensively. That part of his game, I don't think is just going to go away. He was actually one of the better defenders on the team last year.
He actually looked really balanced with Z.
Yeah, I'm wondering if there's some growth there that can take place this year. That would be big for this team.
Mm-hmm.
I still don't think he's a first pair defenseman, and I don't think he'll ever be. But he will probably take on that role this year again.
Right.
And if he's just bulked up a little bit more and can be a little bit better of a puck mover and better at exiting his own zone, I think he's good enough for this year. And in future years, he could be a second pair defenseman with Vlad if you lock him up.
As long as they lock Vlad up, like that's.
But for the extension that we signed him to, the money, I think fits kind of what he was last year, and I think it has potential to be better than that.
Yes.
So it's going to be a big year for him too, and I'm a little optimistic about it. I know I haven't always been the highest on Andrew Peak, but he has impressed me, and I hope he continues.
A lot of these guys that we don't talk about as much are going to be guys that you want to watch more.
Mm-hmm.
Because obviously you're there. The popcorn is Patrick Laine. The popcorn is Johnny Gaudreau.
Yeah.
Right? The popcorn's KJ. The popcorn is Zach Waretsky.
Who's the nachos?
Oh, the nachos?
Yeah.
Probably.
I'm hungry, dog.
Probably Chinny. No way, he's the pierogies.
Stop! I'm hungry.
I was gonna say, yeah, no, I want pierogies. Damn it. Yeah. Anyway, number 4, Vlad Gavrikov. That's still gonna feel kind of weird.
Yeah.
To see one of those forced chopped.
We know what Vlad is. He's a second pair defenseman. He's really good at what he does.
He's your Jake Muzzin.
He's good offensively. He's good defensively.
He's your very solid shutdown two-way defender.
It's a big season for him in terms of how can he parlay this upcoming season into
a new contract
next offseason. And that might be with the Blue Jackets. It might be him trying to make as much money as possible by hitting the market, which could make him a trade target at the deadline. I hope that's not the case because he's not to the age where you don't want to give him a long-term extension. You know what I mean? I want to extend him because I think this is the ideal time to extend him.
What was your want? A 6x6?
Something like that, yeah. I'd pay him that. 100%. I think he's worth it.
But they don't have the money right now.
Make it.
And we'll talk about that in a second, why they don't have the money.
Yeah.
Number 8, Zach Waretsky. You know what he's going to do? He's going to lead your back end.
Yeah, he's your number 1 defenseman.
There's literally nothing
more to say. He's going to get you double digits goals. He's probably going to get you 40 to 50 points.
He could get you upwards of 20 goals again.
Yeah. Big thing for him is just staying healthy. And it wasn't like he was super injury prone last year. I think he just had the one injury that kept him out for like a month, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, but that was a really rough month.
Yeah, it was. So that's just a big thing. Stay healthy, and we'll be fine.
Yep. Number 22, Jake Bean.
This is a big year for Jake Bean, too.
Mm-hmm.
Really, really poor year from him last year. And I'm not sure what his role with the team is at this point.
I think he starts on the third pair and works his way up.
And I'd imagine in that scenario, he's probably going to get tasked with, playing alongside Eric Branson.
Which is fine, because,
I'm just not sure if that progresses his game. Unless they say, hey, we're putting you with Branson. Branson's the guy we're going to rely on more defensively, which gulp. But maybe that's their plan. Branson is going to be more defensive minded, as he usually is throughout the course of his career. He's going to be physical. He'll clear out the front of the net. We need you to be the guy who starts our breakouts in the third defensive pair, a guy who's efficient at exiting the zone, entering the zone. Your neutralized play will be important.
Puck movement.
All that. I think that's important.
Yes.
Really could score goals. He didn't play all 80. I want to say he played 60 games last year, if I'm not mistaken.
Something in that range, 60 to 70.
5 goals. He showed a little bit of a scoring touch in there. We know that that's there.
Yes.
I want to see less of his input and output in the offensive zone and more of it, at least in the neutral zone.
Yes. I want to see a defensive output more from Jake.
Yeah, a little bit of an improvement. He's never going to be great defensively. That's not his game. It's never been his game, but at least a slight improvement off of whatever the hell last year was.
Right, exactly. Number 27, Adam Bokefest.
Yeah, and this is another guy who was great last year offensively.
He had some really fun goals, like jumping up in the rush last year.
Yeah, good foot speed. Good at carrying the puck. Good at breakouts. Great in the offensive zone.
Good passer.
I want to see him continue to bulk up a little bit.
Yes.
And improve a little bit defensively.
He's another guy that's going to learn from Eric and hopefully Vlad.
I think that's another point of bringing in Branson is these two guys specifically, being Bokefest, bulk up a little bit.
Yep.
And he's going to at least help with clearing the front of the net.
Yes, being the physical presence that these guys need to learn from.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of number 44.
Yeah, Eric Branson.
He was the first contract that they signed this offseason that drove everybody wild.
Yeah, just the turn of events, right, that day.
That first day of free agency was so weird for us.
We went from being depressed to being like, oh, we got Johnny Gaudreau. We're really happy now.
We went from being like, what the hell are you doing? To what the hell are you doing?
Yeah.
It was just the weirdest, like, because we talked about, our reactions to Johnny and how you called me in the middle of work.
Yeah.
And how you misspelled God.
Yeah.
But we never actually talked about our reactions to Goody. Right? Which, I don't know. My reaction to Goody, was, okay. And then I saw the contract and I was like, oh.
Yeah, I was fine with us getting him. And then I saw the contract and I was like, I am not fine with this. But
because at the time we were more concerned about Patrick.
Yeah.
And then we got a little more concerned about Patrick when Johnny took all the money.
Right.
But then they made it work and here we are.
Yeah.
And then rounding out the defense is 77, Nick Blankenberg.
Guy we've been high on for a while. I'm excited about him.
A while as in a few months.
Yeah. I think he projects to play a little bit. I don't know how many games.
He'll be the 7th guy.
He'll be, yeah. But I like the potential there for an undrafted kid who's really worked his way up and has really shown so much improvement the last 2 years. And there's some offensive bite to his game that I like.
The way that he ended the year last year was actually really fun.
Mm-hmm.
He showed a glimpse of what he can do offensively.
Yeah.
And just seeing him at practices and morning skates, like in the pictures, and just seeing that smile that he brings.
Yeah.
He's going to bring a lot to that locker room, I think.
He is. It's important. Especially from a young guy who isn't really going to be a leader on this team because of how young he is,
but he has leadership skill. He captained Michigan.
Captain of Michigan, yeah. So he's someone that I don't know what to expect from because I don't know the role.
Right.
But there's excitement there because I like him. And
I just love the genuine, I like him.
I like him. I'm excited about him.
I'm very excited to see
Because
what Blanks
I
can do
think
this
there's
year.
something more there.
Well, they signed him to what was it, a 2-year deal?
Believe so.
Because him and Bemstrom both got 2 years, I believe.
Yeah.
So it's good that they got the extra year out of it.
I want to say like 2 years, 875 per year.
Yeah, small. I think it was like 825.
Maybe somewhere in that.
Somewhere in that. It was really cheap.
Yeah.
But he's an option, and he's going to be a good one. I think he's going to be another one that like takes the year to learn from Vlad and good Branson. Whether that's mostly on the bench, whether that's when he's in the lineup.
Watching from the press box, you never know. But
never know. And then the goalies, we're starting with number 40, Daniil Tarasov, because Corpy's starting on IR this year.
Yeah. I don't know how long Corpy's going to be out.
I don't either.
I think there's an opportunity here to at least give him a start or two.
That's a tough break to start in your make or break year in the NHL for Korpisalo, though.
It is. It really is. But the good news is you know you're going to come back, and you know that you're going to have that spot.
Yes.
Even if you give 3 or 4 starts to Tarasov and he plays well, you're still going to have that spot.
I hope he plays well. He deserved a win last year.
Yeah, they robbed him of a win. I think he'll play a game or two.
And then obviously number 90, Elvis Merzlikins is your starter.
Yeah.
He's shown that he can be a very good caliber. Like,
he has shown flashes of good play from a goaltender, making consecutive starts, putting up good numbers. We saw it his rookie year. We saw it his second year in the league, despite the fact that they were one of the worst teams.
Yes.
But both of those were shortened seasons, and he didn't get a ton of starts. He got starts consistently, but it wasn't a very large output.
Right.
And then last year was his worst statistical season of the 3, but he didn't play bad considering the defense in front of him, the goal saved above expected. The big thing we took out of it was he can at least handle the workload of the starter. So I'd like to see them cut back a little bit, maybe aim for that 55 game.
If he can play 50 to 55, that would be nice.
Somewhere in that range. And I'm not looking for any specific numbers from him, because again, I still don't expect this defense to be that much better. I don't think that defensively as a team, the Blue Jackets are that much better. If he can just post a little bit better results, just improve a little bit.
Yes, because I mean, he had a 907 last year, which isn't great,
but it's only 2 ticks below league average from last year.
Yeah.
And again, that's behind one of the worst defenses, arguably the worst defense in the league.
And I mean, we know that scoring's up. I would believe scoring's going to be, I don't know if it's going to be consistent or if it's going to increase again this year.
Yeah. But I believe in him. They believe in him too. They
invested long term.
So
there's a whole reason why he's got the extension he's got.
And he's going to be at least coming into the season without the emotional baggage that he had last year as well.
He's got, I would assume he's got a vast majority of his closure done.
Yeah.
And I know they're not going to have the Kivy banner up this year at Nationwide, which is kind of sad.
Yeah.
I kind of want to see
they could figure out like a way to honor him in another way.
I kind of want to see them put that banner like somewhere in the concourse.
Yeah. I think that's the appropriate thing to do.
If they can at least do that. Right?
I would imagine that that's probably what they will do.